as we look into the abuse, the sexual abuse of these victims, and do you think his abuse as an adult was influenced by being abused by his father?
Yeah, you would know much more about that than I, as having done psychiatry studies. I do know that from what I've read that being abused makes you more likely to be an abuser, but I don't think I don't think his father sexually abused him. And I don't know of Ravi abusing his children the way his father abused him. So I don't really know if there's any connection there.
Okay. And now, answering Ravi's fans, I want to ask you a couple of questions. You may be irritated, but I want your answers. And some of the Ravi's fans, they say that these women did not come out when Ravi was alive.
Yeah.
Maybe they gave him some non-verbal cues so that he would be attracted to them, and then he would start a sexual relationship, and they would get their money from him, from his pocket or from his ministry.
Mhm.
And they were silent all his life. And now, after his death, they are coming out. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is, let's say that's all true. Let's say that they were consensually involved with Ravi sexually in the massage booth, and they gave him cues, they invited him, they initiated it, and they wanted money from him. Um, so what? That still makes Ravi Zacharias a liar and a hypocrite, because that's totally inconsistent with the books he wrote, the message he made millions of dollars preaching, and the God he claims to worship and follow. So at very least, on that hypothesis, Ravi was still a sexual philanderer. But I will also tell you that the women who I interviewed don't want attention. They don't want money. Both of them were very afraid of Ravi and his family. In fact, they have never allowed me to use their names, although I know now that they've spoken to other media. But these were not the kinds of women who were ready to jump out now that he can no longer defend himself and tell their stories. One woman contacted me. The second woman I had to track down, and she was very, very reluctant to speak to me. And she eventually agreed. But she doesn't fit this model that the Ravi defenders are using of women. He's dead now. Let's go share our stories. And I don't know any of the women who were that way. These were reluctant women who decided, many of them after some prodding and encouragement, to share their stories. And none of them, as far as I know, is looking for money or wants to see their name in the newspaper. The other thing is, if I may, Ravi was vicious. Ravi was a vicious man. Any victim of Ravi who saw what he did to Lorianne Thompson, I mean, that lawsuit he filed in federal court in Georgia, that was a brutal, defamatory document that was intended to destroy her and her husband. And any victim of Ravi who saw what he did to Lorianne Thompson would be very unlikely to want to come forward while he's alive. So this was part of who he was, aggressive and vicious with people who threatened him.